Namaskar, welcome to Candid Conversation, the show in which we focus on an issue that is very much in the news with an expert on the subject. And today we are going to speak about the legacy of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in the context of National Unity Day, which is on the 31st of October. And we are very privileged to have with us the renowned historian, Professor Makkhan Lal, who is the founder of the Institute of Heritage Research and Management and a well-known scholar on the subject. First of all, let's look at Sardar Patel's legacy pre-independence. You, in some of your writings, have said that this freedom movement, which was, where the Indian National Congress played a role, the Indian National Congress was not really a party. It was a movement which had different shades of political opinion. And where does Vallabhbhai Patel fit into this whole movement?
He fitted very well for one very simple reason. For him, Congress was not a party, like for Gandhiji. Congress was not a party, and I will come back on it sooner. For them, Congress was a medium, Congress was a big umbrella under which everybody could gather to get the country free from British rule. Remember that under this umbrella, communists also fought sometime, not always. 1942 movements, their role is of course very despicable. But within the Congress there was CSP, Congress Socialist Party, socialists led by Lohia, Jayaprakash and Narendra Dev, etc. And why Sardar Patel was always far above and far ahead of everybody will show that he could disagree with Gandhiji violently. He still always respected Gandhiji and upheld his own opinion. I mean, many times others will disagree but cow down when Gandhiji said, no, I don't agree. But that was not Sardar Patel. And a beautiful example is in 1934 when Gandhiji resigned from Congress, you must have heard a very famous phrase, मैं तो चवन्निया member भी नहीं हूँ कांग्रेस का. That was Gandhiji's phrase. In 19th, very few people know that in 1934, Gandhiji resigned from Congress. He was no longer a member till 1948, till his death. And when everybody was running after Gandhi, that he should withdraw his resignation, he should lead the Congress, Sardar Patel is one who is on the record. He said that I am very happy that Gandhi has left the Congress. Congress must learn to live as a big umbrella. It should learn to live as a big organization of the country. Right. And it should not always look for Gandhiji for the protection. They should always look for become independent. This he is saying right in presence of Gandhiji.
Gandhiji then was not a member of the Congress, but so he was more like a unifying force of all the political ideologies of the country at that point of time, or the persuasions at that point of time?
Gandhiji was one person above self. He did not have any agenda about his family, about anything, anybody, about party. His one line agenda was country. And thus, nobody could really think that they cannot work under Gandhiji. And remember Gandhiji's contribution. Contribution is, just look at because of one person, you got Nehru, you got Sardar Patel, you got Rajaji, you got Subhash Chandra Bose, you got Kamraj, you got Mudliar. I mean, large number of people. If there was no Gandhi, don't you think that they would have all retired somewhere as a barrister, somewhere as a ICS officer, IPS officer and so on? So look at what Gandhiji was in terms of inspiration.
Let's look at how Sardar Patel was influenced by Gandhiji. Now, all these movements, Satyagraha, Quit India, civil disobedience, and his role first in Gujarat before coming to the national stage. When he gave up everything, terms started wearing khadi. The role of khadi itself for all these leaders, how influential was that?
Sardar Patel was a very westernized man. He was Baratla. Most of the time people try to say he was a farmer. Yes, he was a proud son of farmer, proud farmer. But look at a farmer's son goes to Britain, does Baratla, comes back and starts practicing. And when Gandhiji came to India, for 3 years Sardar Patel was certainly not very influenced. He always thought that there are many people who talk about simple life, who talk about all these things, but finally it leads nowhere. But after watching Gandhiji very carefully, here is a man who not only talks, but exactly behaves and lives exactly the way he talks. This slowly drew him in. But when there was a drought in Gujarat in 1918, and Gandhiji till then had not really been very close to Sardar, but that was the time Gandhiji had a fantastic capacity to test people and recognize the talent. So he asked Sardar if he will lead the agitation. And since then there was no looking back. And Gandhiji always depended on Sardar for very crucial issues, on advices. And when it came to putting the nut bolt together, putting the things in action, Sardar always carried the day.
When we look at, in the run-up to India's independence, when it was becoming clear that India was going to be a free country, and there was obviously the president of the Congress would be the first prime minister of India, and he was supposedly going to be the president because everyone wanted him to be the president. No one had actually voted for Nehru, but it was Gandhiji then who said that he preferred Nehru, and Patel actually moved into the background because of that.
By 1946, it was very clear India is going to get the freedom soon. At date was not decided. Lord Bowell, who was the viceroy, he had made it very clear that we will not be able to hold India anymore. And it was also clear that next president of the Congress will be invited to form the government. Maulana Azad was president and he wanted to continue. All this correspondence exists. But Gandhiji said no, because he was already for 5 years, since 1942, 43, 44, 45. So he was said no. And only constituency which is entitled to elect the Congress president is Pradesh Congress committees. At that time there was 15 Pradesh Congress committees, and when the nominations were invited, 12 committees nominated Sardar Patel, 3 to none, yani 3 abstained. So, and there were no other nominations. So, meaning thereby that Sardar Patel was elected Congress president and de facto then Prime Minister of India. The results were out very clear, everybody what happened. Then feelings started being sent to Gandhiji that Jawahar would not join the government. Gandhiji calls Jawaharlal Nehru. This is all on the record, part of the record. He said, Jawahar, you have not been nominated by anybody. Sardar has been nominated by 12. Nehru did not reply, did not open his mouth. He kept looking at Gandhiji blankly. So Gandhiji later on called Sardar. He said, I know, for you, post and position doesn't matter. For you, the country is supreme, and you can carry it out without even post and position. You are needed by the country. I would suggest that you withdraw. And Sardar Patel withdrew simply because he knew he could do the things without post and position. For him, country was much more than a prime ministership, than a deputy prime ministership, than anything.
Gandhiji had a different role for Sardar Patel, so it appears, because he said that you are the only man who can unite India. You know, these 500 and plus princely states, I mean, I don't see any other man doing this. It was like a job given to Sardar Patel by Gandhiji, and in a sense, because he was the only man who could do it. So Gandhiji, in a sense, understood the roles that these people could play, and perhaps even when Nehru's role, perhaps as a foreign minister of India or on a stage that was on an international stage, maybe it was in Gandhi's eyes the role of Prime Minister of India.
See, Gandhi was very clear that you need to have a very strong country, and only when you are strong, all your foreign affairs, everything comes in. What is very important is that we had 563 independent states, princely states, and whatever was British ruled India, that they had handed over. Unfortunately or cleverly, British said that we are under obligation to declare the princely states independence after we leave. So we leave and it is up to you to leave. Now, why did Gandhiji choose Sardar Patel? Gandhiji had no possession, except couple of,
That's right.
but still even the mightiest bowed
He was
down.
the symbol of unity of India.
No, not a symbol of unity and godly saintly. Everybody bowed down in front of him. Nobody could say no. Similarly, Sardar Patel's sheer personality was such that when he is talking to you, either you will submit or you will obey. Because you know that Sardar Patel had both the things. You accept his personality by persuasion or he will crush you. And examples are 560 states, 559 states just succumbing. Hyderabad was one state, unwilling to listen to, all the time becoming a problem. Negotiations after negotiations after negotiations. And things were becoming too much. All this has been recorded by Rajaji and also in the biography, Sardar's biography. Cabinet will discuss all the time. Sardar was getting very fed up. He decided without informing Governor General, that is President of India today, and the Prime Minister that he is going to act. And believe me, till 2 o'clock in the night, discussion go on in the Governor General's house, Rajaji's house, President house. Nobody has an inkling what is, and Sardar was not there, BP Menon was there, other people were there, but some of them knew what is there in Sardar Patel's mind. And at about 2 o'clock, it was all agreed with BP Menon and Sardar Patel that you will close and they will say we will discuss tomorrow. They come back after 2 o'clock in the morning. Then again next morning about 6:30, when they had to meet, Sardar Patel said there is no need for meeting there, we don't need to meet, army has already moved in. Pandit Nehru was aghast. He said, what? He said, cool down. I said, cool down. We have no meeting. I'm not going to come. Army has moved. It is a matter of few hours. So that was the personality that beyond a point he could ignore Prime Minister. He could ignore the President. He could ignore people. But he respected everybody. But beyond a point when it comes to nation, well, I don't care.
Let's look at the issues of Junagadh as well, because over here the case was where the ruler at the time decided to go along with Pakistan, but of course the majority population was keen on being with India, and then in a plebiscite 99.5% of the population voted to stay within India.
Yeah.
How did Sardar Patel engineer this?
Sardar Patel had an incredible grip on people, incredible grip. And also on the state leaders. I'll give you an example.
And Junagadh is also in Gujarat, which is his home state.
I will give you a larger example and you will know what Junagadh then meant. 1948, there was an election for the Congress presidency. And Sardar Patel wanted Purushottam Das Tandon. And against him, Kripalani was standing. Would you believe Pandit Nehru appealed that if Purushottam Das Tandon is elected, I will resign from the Prime Ministership and from the Congress. Sardar Patel said, all right, leave it to me. And Kripalani does not get even one vote in entire Gujarat. Entire thing went. And Sardar Patel said that not a single vote has to go anywhere except Purushottam Das Tandon. So that's the kind of hold he had. So there was no way plebiscite will go on other side. I mean, he was demigod in that way.
Then we see the situation of Jammu and Kashmir, where he didn't quite have the kind of control that, because this was something that was being handled by Nehru. And we see that, till this day, there are issues in Jammu and Kashmir.
Proximity of Sheikh Abdullah and Pandit Nehru messed up everything. You should know that in the original, when Constitution was almost finalized, there was no Article 370-71. There was one Article 365A. Kashmir had no special status. In the Constituent Assembly, all the people had agreed, including Abdullah and others. But once they go back, Abdullah starts making objection. And Pandit Nehru starts interfering in the affairs of the Kashmir affairs. And situation comes up when Kashmir affair is taken away from Sardar Patel. Pandit Nehru says that he will himself head it and Gopal Swami Iyer will handle. It hurt Sardar Patel so much, he put in his papers. He resigned. But resigned means a letter was drafted. He had put his signature. News reached to Nehru that Sardar Patel's resignation is coming because he feels so hurt with your unilateral behavior. Sardar Patel rushed to Rajendra Prasad, rushed to Maulana Azad, Rajaji, that please don't allow this to happen. I am going to do this, all that. And anyway, Sardar Patel, in larger interest, did not press for, he did not withdraw, did not press for the resignation, but that resignation letter stands is still in the file. I have quoted in my own book of Secular Politics, Communal Agenda, quoted the whole thing, and including the letter verbatim. So the thing is that Kashmir affair, and when you read the whole correspondence, actually volume 1
Yes.
deals with the correspondence of the Kashmir itself, in which everybody except Sheikh Abdullah was saying to Nehru that please hand over Kashmir back to Sardar Patel, he will sort it out. And Sardar Patel, when he was asked to take over, he said, no, go and ask Jawahar, I'll sort it out. Go, and all this is part of the writing in this volume 1. You go and talk to Jawahar, I'll sort it out, but until unless he is in charge, I don't want to interfere.
There are stories also, I mean, how true they are, you can tell us, sir, but that he did not want to be in the government and Gandhiji persuaded him to be there. And in fact, there is talk that, you know, on the day that Gandhiji died on 30th January, Sardar Patel was, of course, the last person he met. And in that conversation, too, he had asked that I want to leave the government, and Gandhiji said, no, you stay in. And he continued.
You see, I mean, there are direct evidence, indirect evidence. Yes, Sardar Patel was very unhappy within the government because the kind of polarization Nehru brought in the government was very unhappy situation. You know, on one hand, Rafi Ahmad Kidwai, Maulana Azad, this and that, they will always create problem, berate Sardar Patel, and very cleverly try to paint him as a communal person. And Gandhiji himself has written and spoken on several times, I am within quote, Sardar talks stuff which may be hurtful to people, but he is honest and secular. Gandhiji writes. Sardar Patel was very unhappy with the functioning of the government, with mechanization within the party, and that's why he said to Gandhiji that I want to fulfill your dream. What dream? You say, Gandhiji, you had said after independence, Congress should be disbanded, or this Congress should become service in the service of the people, and those who want to be in the power, they should form another government, another party. That's what was the answer to your first question, that Congress was an umbrella. Gandhiji said that this umbrella should not get into power. Those who want to get into the power, politics, form another party. Sardar Patel said that I want to join that. But Gandhiji said that, look, who will do this job? And if you don't do this, country will not be united. It will not, nobody else can do this unity. So for that, and it had taken toll on his health.
After Gandhiji's death, he had a heart attack, Sardar Patel, a few months after that. And since after that, of course, it was a decline. I mean, because he was, his health was not good enough for him to continue, you know, playing the important role that he did play. And it was only after that that, you know, Pandit Nehru became the leader that he was later on. How true is that?
No, it's partially true. And I'll tell you that by 1948, he was already 73. Those days, 73 today is not so much age. 73, very hard work, it has taken toll on his health. But to say that he was not effective is contrary to the history. And I'll give you two examples. But for him, Rajendra Prasad could have never become President of India. Pandit Nehru lobbied, he was desperate for Rajgopalachari, but then Sardar Patel said, no, no, no. Sardar Rajaji is equally a good friend of ours, he is a good colleague, but there is no way we can ignore Rajendra Prasad's claim on that. And Nehru did his best, but he lost it. So, but for Sardar Patel in 1950, Rajendra Prasad would not have become on 26th January. And second, another point, Nehru was dead against Purushottam Das Tandon taking over the reins of Congress. And Sardar Patel said, no, he will be the one. And he saw to it that open election fought into the Congress. Purushottam Das Tandon won. And to the extent, just imagine, Nehru had said that I will resign. Sardar Patel had a very dry sense of humor. Very few people know that, very, very dry sense of humor. Rafi Ahmad Kidwai was very favorite friend of them when he went to see on one Aurangzeb road to Sardar Patel. So he said, Sardar, क्या जवाहर का resignation ले आए हो क्या? Have you brought Jawahar's resignation? So Rafi Ahmad Kidwai just smiled and he was wearing. So he said that, look, the working committee is so lackluster. So you look at what Sardar Patel dry sense. He said yes, because there are no achkans and no black goggles into the working committee. Because he was wearing achkan and black goggles were Rafi Ahmad. So he said yes, in working committee it's lackluster because there is no sherwani and there is no black goggle. It is incredible.
Politics of that time, and you know, the way, let's say, Sardar Patel kept his family out of politics, or the influences of people that people have, that, you know, of a clean type of politics where, you know, it's basically meant only for the country, as you kept saying. How do we understand, you know, the influences on Sardar Patel at that time? Why, what was on his mind?
Very few people know why Sardar was called Lauh Purush, Iron Man. I don't think many people know that he became a widower at the age of 34. People talk about Pandit Nehru's being widower at the age of 37 and sometimes condone many of the things. Sardar became widower at the age of 34, and just imagine one thing. His wife was very sick. He went to Bombay, admitted her, came back to Ahmedabad because he had to argue a case. She was very critical. Sardar Patel was arguing the case, and meanwhile a telegram came. He opens the telegram, reads it, folds it and keeps it in pocket. Continues with the case. Once the case was over, magistrate asked him, Mr. Patel, what it was you were interrupted? Did you get some new evidence? Was your thought changed? He said, my lord, this telegram carries the message that my wife is no more. But I had to do this. Look at, you need a steel nerve to do that. You see, Sardar Patel knew one thing. If you keep the country in mind and family together, you are bound to compromise. It is far too obvious, even in past context and today's context. But what was very important is, at that time, look at Rajaji. Rajaji was, after all, Samdhi of Gandhiji. Rajaji's no family member was allowed to come in politics. Gandhiji did not allow, Sardar Patel did not allow. But there were other people जिन्होंने request भी किया कि मेरे बाद मेरे बेटे को बना दो, वो बेटा भी कहेगा मेरी बेटी को बना दो. All this has gone on. But then look at today. There are political families. From one family there are 14, 15 people either in parliament or in assembly. But then Sardar Patel kept this simply because politics is job of serving the nation, not serving the family. It must be very clear, and he knew that both cannot be put together. Did he promote his only son? Only son. Did he promote his only daughter who served him after her mother died in 1909? She became virtually sister, mother, nurse and private secretary of Sardar Patel, all in one. But never asked anything from the nation, never even showed any desire that I should be rewarded for whatever I have done for the nation.
Though Pandit Nehru was the foreign minister of India and the prime minister, Sardar Patel also had a clear idea about India's neighborhood, isn't it, at that point of time? And he corresponded, he also talked to the prime minister about the situation with China.
Actually, it's very important to remember that Sardar Patel was of the view that you are never respected in the world, until unless you are strong within yourself. So his idea was that make yourself very strong, number one. Number two, looking around the world, he felt that we have a wrong ambassador in China. K.M. Panikkar was ambassador, known Marxist. And Pandit Nehru always thought that he is one of the best person, intellectual, this and that. And whatever he said about China, Pandit Nehru followed that line. But one thing important was that entire correspondence, entire thing was always above the board. Pandit Nehru will forward dispatches from Beijing to Sardar Patel. But then in November, I think that is the last letter, last paper Sardar Patel signs before he leaves for Bombay. It's 7 pages printed letter. And it is about foreign policy. That is the only document, very well written. And he says that, look, Pakistan is going to be a nuisance all the time. We don't need to worry about Pakistan. We don't need to worry about these things. Among the neighbors, China is one country you must not believe even for 1 minute. It is going to be the biggest danger. It is going to be biggest threat. It is going to be biggest competitor of India in times to come. And not much later, very soon you will realize it has deceived you. It has completely stabbed you.
There has been some criticism about the role of Sardar Patel in terms of partition, and but other reports also suggest that of course he had the view that Muslims should decide which country they are going to, and those who stay in India have to stop having the principles that they had earlier, which was pro-Muslim League or pro-Pakistan.
Divided loyalty.
Yeah, the divided loyalty. He was clear in his mind about those who wanted to stay within India. But there was also a thing that as he was the Home Minister of India, he was not protecting, there was while the riots were going on. But he actually did a lot of work to see that, people were safe, including that issue, that incident in the Red Fort where there were thousands of Muslims that he sheltered there.
M.S. Randhawa was at that time commissioner.
And he sheltered them and he fed them as well.
Yeah. You see, that is one of the worst charge, most unfair charge that has been made against Sardar Patel. And if you want to really know what has happened, Penderal Moon's book is one of the leading testimony. Penderal Moon was ICS officer. He has documented Sardar Patel did everything to protect life of everybody, irrespective you are Christian, Hindu, Muslim, anything. For him, you were an Indian, you are a human being. And this was deliberated, calculated move. Like all the times, even in today's politics, many times you see that many of the news, the charades just have no base, no substance into it. Sardar Patel had done everything possible within the means to protect everybody, not just Muslims. Sure. For him, all that he very clearly had said in his Lucknow speech, in his other places, that look, it is your choice. You demanded a country, we have given you. You live, whether you want to live here or you want to go there, your choice. But then one country is based on religion. Right. Other country is Sarv Dharma Sambhav, secularism. You cannot have divided loyalty. If you are living here, this is your country. This is where you have to be. And he makes it very clear even in Constituent Assembly. He never minces the words. He did not know how to talk diplomatically.
Finally, what would you say is the legacy of Sardar Patel? How would you sum it up?
Sardar Patel worked, lived and died for India, united India, and conducted himself above caste, creed and religion. I will say, appeal to everybody, please, please lead this country keeping yourself above caste consideration, creed consideration, religious consideration. There should be only one consideration, and that's country. And that's what Sardar did.
Professor Makkhan Lal, thank you very much for talking to us here on DD News and Candid Conversation and being so candid.
So kind of you. It's my pleasure.